My name is Joshua, and I am the Tribune. Today I want to demystify what it's like when God actually shows you that one, He wants to speak to you, that two, you can hear Him, and three, He wants you to start carrying out what His orders are. So when He first starts talking to you, you really don't know it's Him. You don't know it's Him because you haven't learned His voice yet. So His voice normally sounds like a feeling that you have. It's not audible, of course. It's a feeling. And it's something that feels like you could know this thing, but you're not really sure. So what happens is when God starts speaking to you, He will tell you something that is supposed to happen in the future. He will tell it to you and you'll think, oh wow, well, that would be pretty cool. Or maybe that is the case. Or I think this could be what I feel. What happens is when you feel that thing, you won't do anything about it. You won't move forward on it. You won't think you should. You'll have no idea. But you will remember that you had that thought and that feeling. What happens then is He will bring that thing to pass. He will bring it to pass without your help. You won't have anything to do with it. It will just happen. And you will see it. And when you see this thing, the first time you won't think anything. You'll think, oh wow, what a coincidence. That's what you will think. The second, third, fourth time, you still might think, this is a coincidence. Because they're kind of spread out a little bit. It doesn't happen all in 1 week. It doesn't happen all in a crammed in space. This happens over a period of time that He's designated to train you and show you that you can hear His voice. So what happens is after you see this happen, you then start thinking, oh my goodness, maybe God's talking to me. Then you start paying attention to exactly how you feel and the progression of things when you have the next one. And then you still don't know and you wait for that to come to pass. After you do this several times, He starts to show you that this is what you feel like when I speak to you. This is my voice, not your voice. From there, you start getting confident to know that you hear His voice. Now, something I have to warn you about is through this process, because you didn't act on any of these words that He gave you, it will look like you weren't obedient. This is a very big key. After you really know this is God's voice, and you're absolutely this is God's voice, I know this is Him talking to me, then you will think back to all those times that He just meant to prove to you it was Him, and you'll start beating yourself up thinking that you just didn't do what He wanted. That's not true. What is true is that you weren't supposed to do anything all those other times. What you were supposed to do is just pay attention. And He will use circumstances to show you this. This will be a time and season of circumstances that you are watching. The reason for this is, number one, He wants you to know that He doesn't need your help if He doesn't want it. He doesn't need your help to speak to you. He will come to you, speak to you, and make His word happen in your life. This will happen over and over again. Now, if He wants you to do something, He will tell you. And this is what He's preparing you for. To be able to follow instruction and know that when He speaks to you in this way, you will actually be able to move forward in that thing, knowing for sure that He spoke it to you. Because you've seen Him come through on this specific kind of word before. Now, it is very important to know that you have to be a Christian to experience this level of relationship. You cannot do this as an unbeliever. And you cannot do this as a Christian who is not seeking friendship with God. You have to seek friendship with Him. It starts with faith. It starts with faith, moves into being obedient. And then, from that obedience, He moves you towards action steps, where you're partnering with Him and He's giving you instructions and you're doing them. And this is what you're going to need to prepare for your purpose. You're going to need to be able to hear God, be obedient, and do action steps when it doesn't look like you should be doing those things, or it doesn't look like in your natural space that it's necessary, or that it's going to work, or that it's even possible. This is when you need to hear this voice and be obedient. So by the time you get to that point where you're actually doing action steps, you've already went through the process of him telling you something and then watching him carry it out in your life without your help. And it could be something very simple. When you think about God doing this, don't think of these massive, crazy things that are just unbelievable. That's not what he's going to teach you with. He's going to teach you with things that are very practical, very, very, very simple in your life. It could be anything. It could be something that he tells you that person in your life needs. They need a pencil case. And you don't say anything. You say nothing. And he tells you exactly what kind of pencil case they need. You don't buy it, you don't do anything. You're just thinking these things in your head, not knowing it's him telling you. Then they'll come to you a week later and say, hey, I didn't tell you, but I got this pencil case. And when they show it to you, it's going to be the same one that he spoke to you in your head. And you're going to say, oh my gosh, that wasn't my thought. That was God telling me that they were going to need that. So I wanted to demystify this because it could be very overwhelming if I'm talking about hearing God and following steps, getting this blueprint, all these things, strategies, all these different things. If you think that this is some overwhelming process in the beginning when you start hearing from God, I want to let you know it's not. It's very simple and easy. And you have to remember, he wants you to know that he is talking to you. Even if it's been hard to hear from God up until this point, for you, or you've seen somebody struggle with it, when the time comes, he wants you to know that you can hear from him. This is why I'm talking about all the other things that can cloud our minds, cloud our eyes, cloud our ears in this process. Because what I want to do is I want to help everybody take all these things out, flush ourselves, cleanse ourselves, so that we can get to the step where he is speaking to us. You can hear it, and then from there, you can see what he's doing. Now, it's really important to understand that Satan doesn't want this to happen. He doesn't want you to understand this. He will come to you when this happens and think, and you're gonna think this. Oh my goodness, this is just a coincidence. This is not God. This is me. These are random thoughts that are just happening to come to pass. No, it's not. So after you experience this and you know this is God, the next step is to start taking action steps when you hear something like this and you feel that thing that he shows you is him. And it starts very small. It's not a big thing. It's a small thing. And he's patient. So you should just take the steps, step out on faith when you think you hear this voice. From there, he will confirm it to you. And you'll be shocked. You'll be shocked with small things. And that's really where all this starts. Day-to-day things. From there, he will just keep building and building and building your relationship with him, your hearing, your obedience. After that's built, then he starts talking to you about what I'm saying is the blueprints for his purpose, for your purpose. Preparing, making beauty. All these different things, this is where it starts. So I want to encourage you today. I want to encourage you for the people who are Christians, who either are or have been seeking this kind of ear to hear God's voice. Maybe he's been already speaking to you for a long time, but you thought it was a coincidence, or you think it's you. You think that you're the one just thinking these thoughts and they're just happening. And I'm here to tell you today that it's God. It's God trying to form a relationship with you. He doesn't come as this big, loud voice. It's still, it's small. It's in here. So be encouraged. Look back in your life. This is for Christians who have been trying to hear God and think they can't. Look back in the past and see the times recently, and I'm saying recently within even the past couple of years, that He has spoken something to you. You didn't think it was Him and you saw it come to pass. Once you think of those moments, you will start realizing that He's been speaking to you and you can hear Him already. You already can. From there, look for the next one. It could happen today. It could happen tomorrow. It could happen any day. Look for the next one. Pay attention to what you feel on the inside when this happens. When He speaks, because you want to know when He speaks. You don't want to know after. In this coming season, you're going to have to know when He speaks before He confirms it, because He's going to expect action from you. He's going to expect you to actually take action when He speaks and start mobilizing yourself so that when He confirms it, you have what you already prepared with Him in that between season. So you have to start practicing for that. How you practice is you pay attention to what you feel like when He speaks right now, tomorrow, today. Pay attention to when you think He's speaking with no confirmation. And then start acting on that as soon as possible. It could be anything. Act on it. It could be something that seems so foolish. And this is pointless. They're going to think I'm crazy. They're going to think, why did she do this? It doesn't make any sense. Act on it. You'll be shocked. Because when you act on it, He will be right there to meet you. It starts very simple. Get a purple flower for this person. How do you know that they're not praying for a confirmation on something they need? And they're saying, Lord, please, and it has something to do with the purple flower. And you give it to them. I don't know why. And then they're, oh my gosh, it's God. Now you know you hear from God. But if you would never have taken the step, you would never have jumped into that next level of faith where you're in action with Him. And if you don't take the action step, He will actually show you that was Him, and He will bring it to you. That person will come to you and say, hey, look, I got this purple flower from God. And you'll see, oh my gosh, He told me to give that to you. And I didn't do it. And then if you miss that, He'll do it again. And He'll keep doing it until you start realizing what is happening to you. And you become confident in it. You start stepping into it. This is how the process works. So please don't, beat yourself up about it. Don't be discouraged, sad. I want to give up. God's not talking to me. No, He's talking to you. He wants to. And He's patient. But the season's coming where we need the generals to start stepping up. So, if He has a commission that He's trying to pass out, and you are supposed to get this commission, but you hear this message and you do not jump in and start taking steps and testing to see if you can hear from God when He wants to speak to you, and He is speaking to you. If you don't test that, He will have to find someone to do that commission because it's very valuable to Him. It must be done. So, though He's patient, you don't have forever to do this. There's a lot on the line, but it starts with very small things. And I know you can do it. I love you. Hail Jehovah.